Howdy folks, the month of spooks has passed and it's now the penultimate month of 2024. October had some pretty decent mods, mostly smaller scale improvements and additions, but also some big ones. So without further ado, let's jump in. Starting things off with hit explosives. This mod adds lots of new explosive weapons to the game along with excellently made animations. The thing I like about these weapons is that they aren't just reskinned versions of vanilla weapons. Each has specific functionalities. For example, the quad missile launcher deals massive damage over a huge area, but if you are not cheating, you will most likely have a limited amount of missiles, making it a tough decision to use them. The impact grenade explodes on impact, the directional mine has a larger explosion range, etc. There's also a joke grenade launcher that shoots out potatoes and actually does a decent amount of damage, but good luck hitting anything in VATS. Next is WordleHack. This mod replaces the base game hacking minigame with WordleHack. This minigame is becoming quite popular in modern games, so why not in NV2? However, I should warn you that it's pretty challenging, at least for me. I wish the words were related to the place, but they are completely random. If you don't mind the challenge, give it a try, but for others, I'd say stick with the vanilla minigame. This next mod is absolutely hilarious and rather pointless, but I still included it. Get Out the Way lets you push any living NPCs. It's really fun to occasionally just sub someone and make a run for it. You can also push animals, which is equally hilarious. This is definitely a contender for mod of the century. This next one is simple too. On paper, this mod adds a single animation for the in-ear emergency radio, but the animation itself is quite good. Of course, on its own, this mod isn't that impressive, but I hope the mod author turns it into a project in the future and animates even more items. ESP-ESM Explorer lets you get any items from any mod through a new menu. A similar mod already existed in Fallout 4, so it's great to see in NV2. Now you might say that OX Toolkit already did this, and you are right. But OX Toolkit gives you the item IDs instead of the item names, which sometimes makes it harder to find what I'm looking for. Anyway, ESP Explorer is much easier to use than OX Toolkit, though both have their uses. Iconic restores a piece of cut content to the game. There are faction-specific reputation icons in the game files, but they were never used. This mod simply restores them in high quality. It adds a bit of identity to who you are helping and who you are crossing. But it's something that should have been in the base game. Zami's Weapons and Friends series of mods have been one of the most entertaining to go through over the past few months, and 10mm SMG and Friends is no exception. This mod adds 3 variants of 10mm SMG along with 2 unique variants. Each design represents a different era of Fallout and they all feel distinct. For example, the classic 10mm SMG has a slow fire rate but high damage, while the newer version has a faster fire rate but lower damage. All in all, it's a great mod pack and like previous months, I highly recommend it. This next mod is kinda odd as I feel like it didn't work for me, but I'm still including it since it worked for everyone else. Parallax shaders, objects, is meant to add depth to 2D surfaces to make them appear 3D, but personally, I didn't notice much difference. Maybe my eyes were messed up or something, but I couldn't really tell if this mod was working. Try it out and let me know. And if you're feeling generous, send me a video from your game. Then came the Stranger, adds a Nemesis style enemy to New Vegas, similar to characters like Mr. X and Nemesis from Resident Evil games. I wouldn't say he's as scary as them, but it's still a decent attempt. To use this mod, go to Goodsprings Cemetery and pick up the Beating Heart. After that, the enemy will appear at random times. Weirdly, he used his fist both of the times he spawned, but maybe it's because he was carrying a fat man and didn't want to blow himself up with me. One thing I'll say that he's not really annoying as there's a decent amount of time between encounters. Townie Names is another simple mod. All it does is add names for some of the generic NPCs in Prim and Goodsprings. These names do fit their looks. I hope the author adds names for all the towns, not just Goodsprings and Prim. Man at Odds redecorates the room of Manny, the former Great Khan turned NCR soldier. The theme of the room reflects this. NCR flags, trophies, anti-Legion propaganda, and touches from his past, like the carpet on the wall. I hope the mod author makes similar mods for characters like Raul and Lily. And now, for the big one.
big one.
The big one. The big one! What is the big one?
Skinwalker is a quest mod involving a serial killer who abducts children. To start this quest, head to the old Mormon fort and talk to a woman named Alejandra. At first she doesn't open up, but after pushing her a bit, she reveals that children have been disappearing from all over the Mojave. We go to North Vegas Square, where the latest child was abducted, and start investigating. It's an hour-long quest mod, mostly dialogue heavy, but that's a good thing because the dialogue and the voice acting keep you engaged. This mod has both mystery and horror elements, but it sucks that it's only received 27 endorsements so far. I mean, what the hell? If we don't show support for quest mods, people will stop making them. So I have one request for you. If you play this mod, please remember to endorse it and show the mod author some support. And that's it, my pick for the best mods from October 2024. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the reviews in the comments. As always, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.